The average net worth in America looks impressive until you remove home equity. And once you do, the numbers tell a completely different story, and not in a good way. We hear stats all the time about how the average American household is worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, sometimes even over $1 million when using the mean average. But here's the problem. Almost all those comparisons include home equity. And while home equity absolutely counts as part of your net worth, it's not the same as having money you can actually spend, invest, or rely on month to month. A house can make you look wealthy on paper, while hiding how little you actually have outside of it. And when you strip home equity out, that's when financial reality becomes clear. Before we break down the numbers by age, take a second to hit the like button and subscribe. It helps the channel, and you'll see more videos like this. Now, let's talk about the data. These figures come from U.S. Census Bureau data and closely match Federal Reserve reports. The numbers are based on households, not individuals, meaning they reflect combined finances of people living together. And we're using the median, not the average. Why does that matter? Because the median shows a middle household. Half have more, half have less. It prevents the ultra-wealthy from distorting the picture. So let's start with Americans under 35. The median household net worth, excluding home equity, is about $17,000. That's it. And remember, this includes savings, investments, retirement accounts, cash, everything outside the home. Now, the under 35 category groups together people in their early 20s with those in their early 30s. So naturally, the number gets pulled down. But here's the bigger reason it's low. Many people in this age range have negative net worth. Student loans, car loans, credit cards. On top of that, careers are still developing. Income is usually lower. Job stability is still forming. Raises haven't really compounded yet. So saving and investing often take a back seat to rent, groceries, gas, and just staying afloat month to month. Now, let's move to ages 35 to 44. The median net worth excluding home equity rises to about $51,000. Better, but still not high. At this stage, careers are gaining traction. Income is more stable. Employer retirement plans like 401(k)s are more common. But this decade is also financially intense. Mortgages, raising kids, childcare, lingering student loans. Income increases, but so do responsibilities. And often, that $51,000 isn't the result of aggressive investing. It's usually slow accumulation without a clear long-term strategy. Next, ages 45 to 54. The median net worth excluding home equity is about $79,000. These are typically peak earning years. Careers are established. Income is higher. But decades of expenses, lifestyle upgrades, and inconsistent saving habits limit growth. Some debts finally disappear. Retirement accounts grow. But $79,000 outside of housing during peak earning years is still modest. Now we get closer to retirement. Ages 55 to 64. Median net worth excluding home equity is about $111,000. This is often the first time the number breaks into six figures. But think about it. After 30 or 40 years of working, only $111,000 outside of housing? That's not much runway for retirement. Many people are playing catch-up at this stage, trying to compensate for years of undersaving. Then ages 65 to 69. The median net worth excluding home equity reaches about $140,000. This is usually peak savings. Careers are ending. Assets are at their highest. And yet, $140,000 is not a large retirement cushion. That amount doesn't generate meaningful income unless combined with Social Security or continued work. Finally, ages 70 to 74. The median drops slightly to around $136,000. This decline shows savings are being spent down, and that's normal. Retirement is meant to use your money, but with such a thin cushion, there isn't much margin for error. Now, let's clarify something important. Home equity absolutely counts as net worth. Net worth is simple math. Everything you own minus everything you owe. You can't selectively remove assets just because they're inconvenient. But here's the key distinction. Including your home shows your long-term balance sheet. Excluding your home shows your financial flexibility. And those are two very different things. A lot of people buy a home in their 30s or 40s and mentally check the "I'm set" box. Nice house, stable job, 2 cars in the driveway. It feels like success. But often, most of their net worth is locked inside that house. Maybe they have $200,000 in home equity, but only $20,000 in actual investments. That imbalance is where risk lives. Because home equity isn't liquid. You can't easily pay bills with drywall. Yes, you can sell, rent, or borrow against it. But that's different from having diversified, invested assets that generate income. What happens in many households is this. They save aggressively for a down payment. Then once they buy the house, saving momentum disappears. Expenses rise. Lifestyle improves. Vacations get nicer. Cars get upgraded. Retirement investing becomes something they'll get to later. And later never comes. So net worth growth becomes tied almost entirely to property appreciation. And while real estate can be a powerful asset, concentration risk is real. When most of your wealth sits in one asset, your primary residence, you lack flexibility and diversification. The people who build real financial independence typically do one thing differently. They consistently invest outside of their home. Even just 10% of income invested over decades creates a dramatically different outcome because that money is compounding, working, growing, generating options. And here's something most people don't realize. The families who look wealthy aren't always wealthy. The nice home, new cars, and polished lifestyle often reflect steady income and monthly payments, not deep savings. True financial security is usually quiet. It looks boring. It's invisible, and it doesn't show up on Instagram. So when you look at your own net worth, try this. Calculate it with your home, then calculate it without your home. You'll see two different stories. One shows ownership. The other shows liquidity, flexibility, and long-term security. Neither number is wrong, but together they reveal the truth. If most of your net worth is in your home, you're not alone. That's normal in America. But if you want real financial freedom, the kind that gives you options, building assets outside your primary residence is critical. Because wealth isn't just about what you own. It's about what can support you without forcing you to sell where you live. And once you understand that difference, you start playing a completely different financial game. If you found this video helpful, make sure you hit the like button. It really helps the channel grow. Subscribe if you want more breakdowns like this where we look at the real numbers behind wealth, retirement, and financial freedom. I'll see you in the next one.